Hello, this is a book review of the Bed of Procrustes by Nassim Taleb, an excellent, contrarian, provocative, deep author of many books, including The Black Swan and Anti-Fragile. This book contains a list of aphorisms. Aphorisms by Nassim Taleb. What is an aphorism? An aphorism is a short saying which contains wisdom. So it is a phrase, a sentence that is packed with knowledge and understanding. So for example, an aphorism might be, take care of the small things as the big things will take care of themselves. Might be, eat your vegetables before your dessert. Could be, give a man a meal and he will be fed for a day. Teach him how to fish and he will be able to feed himself for his entire life. Short nuggets of wisdom, little sayings which contain knowledge accumulated over long periods of time and possibly tried and tested. So a lot of these rules or algorithms have been put into practice, and the ones that have survived and are used every day have value, because if we are guided by these little maxims, truisms, rules, they will help us to make better decisions in the real world. So Nassim Taleb, his main thesis and many of the aphorisms in this book allude to his overarching idea that reality, the real world, is different from the world described by academics. He is very critical of economics professors in particular, because in his view there are large discrepancies between our conception of the world, our understanding of the world, due to the limits of our brain and thus the limits of our knowledge and understanding. We have heuristics, biases, flaws. We're unable to actually understand the world in its entirety, in full. And the bits that we miss, the cracks, if you will, in between the boxes that we use to place and categorize phenomena in, is where a lot of the action occurs. His book, The Black Swan, is about the highly improbable but highly impactful. So because our brains have been shaped by evolution to survive and not to understand the extremely complex mathematics underpinning reality, we will always be surprised. Things will seemingly come out of the blue in ways that we cannot anticipate. For example, if one were to look around the world today, lots of things are taking place today that no one would have predicted 5 or 10 years ago. Technological developments, perhaps conflicts around the world. These are having very large impacts and influencing future events in ways that we possibly can't perceive. And the black swan is a metaphor for people used to believe that all swans were white because no one had ever seen a black swan. But But then when people went to Australia, somebody sighted a black swan, and that shattered a particular belief. The book is called The Bed of Procrustes. Procrustes was a Greek legend, is a character who infamously abducted travellers in ancient Greece and had a special bed and made the travellers fit the bed rather than make the bed fit the traveller. So if they were too tall, he would see to it that they were made shorter to fit the bed, and he would stretch those too short for the bed. So the phrase Procrustean bed is used to mean the process by which we categorise. When we put things in boxes, neat, tidy, orderly boxes, we often cut a lot of useful information in order to place something in a box. And that act of cutting out that which does not fit our preconceptions, our ideas, our prejudices, our beliefs, is partly why unexpected things happen all of the time. He uses this phrase, beyond the veil of opacity. So the world is opaque because we are limited with regards to what we're able to see due to the nature of our brains. One aphorism I love in this book that he comes up with is studying neurobiology to understand human nature is like studying ink to understand literature. So he's talking about how we try to simplify things, and the act of simplification, the act of compressing information, data, in some sense corrupts it and removes things which would enable us otherwise to have a full, comprehensive understanding. So he's come up with a number of rules. I actually found this book very funny reading it. I sat there chuckling on occasion. In his characteristic way, comes across almost arrogant, but there is a humility about Nassim Taleb as well, which is refreshing, and his anti-authoritarian style against so-called elite universities for pretending, in his view, to know everything, and that they're able to predict with high accuracy. And he argues in this book, through writing maybe 300 aphorisms in this book, rules that we can apply to counter dogma and the hubris of others. So an amazing book, an incredible writer, thought-provoking, encouraging even, because there is something inspiring about his anti-establishment mentality that can be invigorating. So I'll leave this with you today. Do check out this book and check out his other books. My favourite two books by Nassim Taleb are The Black Swan and Anti-Fragile, but Fooled by Randomness is also a brilliant book, and there are one or two others that one can read too. Thank you for watching.